Our apologies for the delay. We have some very good news. All Fijians will get to watch the South African leg of the World Cup 7 Series. And this has come about through some very deliberate and focused discussions and negotiations that have taken place over the past week, but more so over the past 48 hours or so, in which, for example, last night, the chairman of Fijian Holdings is also on the Fiji TV board, including the other director on the Fiji TV board, Mr. Naiveli and Nazar Farid, Mr. Farid, respectively. The Solicitor General is also the Permanent Secretary for Communications, and myself, together with the representatives of World Rugby. We had a teleconference that lasted almost over 2 hours, in which a number of issues were discussed, and of course then subsequently the World Rugby had a meeting with Fiji TV separately. I'm glad to announce that through those discussions that we had, the World Rugby has facilitated through the Fijian government and Fiji TV a particular position that is now allowed for the sub-licensing of the rights that Fiji TV had acquired, which now gives FBC TV the ability to also broadcast for a fee, broadcast the rights that Fiji TV had acquired. This is now, of course, this sub-licensing of the rights is applicable for the entire leg of the 7 Series, all the legs, and it also includes the World Cup tournament, the 15s, for next year, which they are the two agreements that were on foot when the law had been put in place, and now we have a very, very good outcome. I would like to firstly thank World Rugby for the understanding and indeed listening to the rationale behind the law that was put in place, understanding also the fact that the commercial scale in Fiji and indeed in other Pacific Island countries is completely different to what exists in other larger economies like Australia, New Zealand, South Africa, France, England, etc. And through those discussions we were able to reach a very successful outcome. I'd like to thank them for their positive take on this. I'd also like to thank in particular the chairman, Mr. Naiveli and Mr. Nazar Farid, for their persistence and their continuous support and having the long-term vision in seeing exactly what was being achieved. I also would like to acknowledge the input by the Director of Communications, Shivnesh Prasad, and also the Permanent Secretary for Communications, who is also the Solicitor General. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's a very good and happy occasion. You can all smile. That we will all get to see the South African leg. As you know, that they have stories that have emanated, how there are people who do not get to see the coverage in certain parts of Fiji, and now everybody will get to see it. It's a wonderful outcome. It's wonderful for the fans, of course, first and foremost. It's wonderful for the development of rugby. It's wonderful for those rugby players who may be playing in the tournament or previously played in tournament, but where they come from, the people cannot get to see them to play. It's also wonderful in terms of a commercial outcome, I think, and I'll ask the chairman and the director to speak on that. And I'd like to once again, thank World Rugby for this. We've had some long hours. So I'm sort of, we have to talk to Ireland when it's 4 a.m. in the morning or some ridiculous hours. So some of us have lost sleep on that. I also want to thank the chairman who was here for a number of hours last night, and also Mr. Farid. We very much appreciate the input. I'll ask them to now say a few words.
Thank you, Minister. Thanks very much for your comments. As Chairman of Fiji Television, we are much relieved that this thing has come to be settled, and our fans and our people are happy we have been looking, when we received the letter from World Rugby about a week ago, we were a bit, sort of pressured being a holder of the license. And we know there's only one way is to work together. We are a small nation, work with the government, work with the World Rugby, and see what is the best, because we are small. By working together, we can be more influential in the world because of our smallness and of the goodness of rugby has done to this country. And we are very pleased that that last night we will be able to come with the Prime Minister's intervention and the World Rugby being able to facilitate what been made, amendments been made by our government, and we are very pleased, and I'm very pleased and looking forward that this will be good for us. We have looked at it commercially and legally, and I can say that we are happy going forward. On the commercial side, I might ask our Director Reid to say a few words on that side. Inaka.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Attorney General. It's a good news for the whole country. More importantly, it's a good news for the private sector as well as the government. This is probably one rare instance where three parties sit for a negotiation, and finally all three parties are winners in this discussion. So it's difficult to believe it's last 24 hours. I think Chair as well as AG, as well as Solicitor General, as well as Director Communication was awake. We were doing negotiation continuously, and number of emails passed between all of us were extremely large. It's thanks to World Rugby, finally they had made a sacrifice in coming forward to the table. And also I think especially I want to thank Prime Minister, who has last minute input to the discussion, and Attorney General, who had to answer calls and reply emails at around 2 a.m. in the morning, as well as my chair, my directors. They all did a good job in coming to some settlement here. What is the winning story is that Fiji TV didn't lose anything. It's a commercial agreement. It's a commercial agreement, I really want to emphasize. We are not losing anything. We are a listed company. And what has happened now, during Dubai leg, we couldn't do anything, and the Fiji public lost, and Fiji television too did not make any money. But now a situation has come up where the whole Fiji will be able to see on both television channels, as well as World Rugby 2 is much happier because they are going to make something out of it. As well as government is happy, the government objective has been achieved, and we are happy. It's a commercial agreement. We are all going to make money. So through different strategies we adopted for the last 24 hours, we have come to this outcome. And I'm sure going forward, this is not an agreement for South Africa 7. It is for the entire legs, entire season of HSBC Rugby 7 until mid-2015. And it also combined with the later 2015, which is September-October, Rugby World Cup will be held in England. So that also part of this agreement. So the commercial outcome, we all winners, and Fiji Television is very happy. And on behalf of our team, we want to thank government, Prime Minister, Attorney General, Solicitor General, as well as especially the legal team of World Rugby, who did a lot of hard work at the last moment to come back to the table and to agree and to understand what Fiji is going through. The commercial scenario in Fiji is much different from what they experience in other part of the world. And finally, they understood what we want, and it's a win-win situation to all of us. Again, thank you very much, Joyaji. It's a really hard work, and I especially want to say thank to my chair. He normally doesn't stay till that late, but yesterday 2 a.m. he was in Fijian Holdings boardroom. We were discussing. So again, thank you very much. It's a good news for all of us.
Thank you. Take any questions?
So you mentioned a fee has been put in place. How much is the fee?
That's the sub-licensing rights is between FBC and Fiji Television. You can talk to them about that. We are not privy per se to that. They, I think, may have sent us or will be sending us a copy, but in fact they're not obliged to. What has actually happened is that within the existing agreement or agreements that existed between World Rugby and Fiji TV, there was a way that was found that was the ability of Fiji TV to sub-license. This is why when we were getting asked questions on the Parliament floor, it was somewhat bemusing about the assumptions that many of these members of Parliament were making from the opposition side, I should say, without knowing basically commercial realities. They don't understand commerce, frankly. So, obviously you cannot always tell everything when you're negotiating. It has a detrimental impact. And I have to say a couple of the media organizations obviously jumped to the gun. For example, I know Fiji Times was making a number of assumptions about, that it was being shown that Gold Coast 7's was shown and Dubai was not shown. They came to all these conclusions. We obviously did not want to comment on that, on perhaps the ignorance or biasness. But the reality is, ladies and gentlemen, that we always focus on the bigger picture and the bigger vision. And I would like to thank the Prime Minister for his input and indeed impetus in helping us remain focused on a principle basis. As you know that last week there was obviously a lot of pressure, a lot of it from, of course, the media who are trying to make a circus out of it, not having a focus on the national agenda. The reality is, ladies and gentlemen, that there are many parts of Fiji where people do not get to see it if you only show it on one TV station. Free to air I'm talking about. It is our responsibility, it is incumbent upon us that such an important event, such an important sport that plays a pivotal role in Fiji's life, in particular also contributing to the economy. You have Fijian players playing in France and other places where they do get paid lots of money, and they send remittances back home. It is therefore a very important event for us, and this is why it is critical that everybody got to see the game. And we took a principled position, as the Prime Minister has said that we needed to, and I'm glad we did. And I'm very, very thankful. In fact, everybody in Fiji should be thankful to the Prime Minister that he took this very principled position, which gave people like us a lot of solace and indeed a lot of moral support, because we could have very quickly and indeed buckled at the 11th hour and not taken a principled position but played popular politics. And that would have been to the expense of those people who would not have been able to see it. Today all those people will be able to see it, or at least from tomorrow and until September of next year. So this is the principal position that was taken, and we are glad we did. And also at the same time, it has turned out to be a very successfully commercial outcome for everybody. As the CEO of Fijian Holdings has said, that everybody's a winner. And indeed that's what we always wanted. It was not to the detriment of one company over the other. And I think let this be a lesson for us as a nation, that if we stand together, we'll be able to take a lot more bigger strides and indeed be able to get better outcomes.
Just to add on to that, if you look at the overall big picture, Fiji Television Limited is the main principal right holder for HSBC 7's and World Cup 2015. So under the understanding now, what we have is the World Rugby, they have made an undertaking in writing that they are going to give us, which is already part of our agreement, the sub-licensing clause. So under which we'll be sub-licensing our rights to Fiji Broadcasting Corporation. It's a commercial agreement. That agreement was signed today, just before this press conference, between Fiji Television Limited, Fiji Television Chairman, myself, as well as the FBC CEO and the Company Secretary. So there is a commercial agreement is already in place to share the feed between Fiji Television and Fiji Broadcasting Corporation. This has been enabled by the World Rugby. So who has undertook? Yes, there is a clause and we have activated the clause. In order to do all these things, Government of Fiji also has made some undertaking to do certain other things. So it's a tri-party understanding, and that has made us a winning position to all of us. So that's why we have to clearly say to thank you to the government to make this enabler for the public to see.
So still on that note, is Fiji TV management happy about the sub-licensing to FBC?
Again, I want to say, which I've said in public, a company is driven by management, the strategies are made by the board and the shareholders. So it's is a decision made in the interest of Fiji Television Limited, not in the interest of anybody else. So whether the Fiji Television management like it or not, it's a strategic decision that we have made. Yes, I think it has been made public. There are some negative elements. We are aware. So I'm sure that we'll make some comments at some other occasion, not today. But we are happy the Fiji Television will be able to share the feed with FBC, and the whole country will be able to see what they love. So that is what the more important. We need to take the national interest first before anything else. But again, I've clearly said there's a commercial agreement in place, and we are not going to lose anything at this stage.
Just a clarification. Under this sub-licensing that you guys have given to FBC, Fiji TV is willing to give the entire leg of the series, the whole of the series, and also the World Cup, all the games?
All the main agreement what we have in entirely has been subleased to FBC.
Sub-licensed.
Sublicensed.
Has anyone, my TV has approached you?
If anybody else wish, definitely we are willing to look at it, because it means some additional income to Fiji TV.
AG, with regards to the degree, how they had different companies had to pay their own certain percentage. Does this come into the fold in terms of that sub-licensing agreement?
Almost close to that one. So I think that commercial agreement is not a preview to the public, but I can clearly say that. So in the previous one what we are sharing, we are almost there. Probably it can be a little bit more than what we have. Earlier there is no additional charges we can make from a third party. So under the sub-licensing agreement, since we are managing affairs with World Rugby, so they'll be paying an additional sub-license fee to Fiji Television Limited.